Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. And today we're tackling something I think a lot of people are really curious about: YouTube earnings. I mean, how much money do these YouTubers really make?
It's a great question.
Yeah,
And, it's something that people speculate about all the time.
definitely.
But we've got some fascinating data from successful channels
Yeah.
and real insights to kind of break down the factors that are really driving those earnings. So get ready for a deep dive behind the curtain of how it all really works.
It's not just about getting a ton of views, right?
Right? It's not just about views. There's a lot more to it.
Way more nuanced than that.
Yeah, way more of the story.
So let's break it down. What's the first thing that YouTubers or people interested in YouTube earnings should really know?
Well, let's start with ads, because that's how a lot of YouTubers make money.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be surprised to learn that the types of ads actually make a big difference.
Okay.
You know those skippable ads? The ones we all love to click past after like 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Those can actually generate more revenue than those unskippable ones.
Really, I always just assumed the unskippable ones were the ones that were making all the money.
I know, right?
Yeah,
It seems counterintuitive.
totally.
But think about it. Viewers who actually choose to watch a skippable ad, they're more likely to be engaged.
Right.
They're not just passively waiting for the skip button.
Yeah, they're actually interested.
Exactly.
Okay, so engaged viewers equals more money, essentially, for the YouTuber.
Yes, exactly. And that means they're more valuable to those advertisers.
It makes sense when you put it that way. So how do creators actually get paid from these ads? Like, what's the breakdown?
It comes down to two key metrics, CPM and RPM.
Okay, let's break those down.
All right, so CPM stands for cost per mil, or cost per 1,000 views.
Okay.
And basically, it's the amount an advertiser pays for 1,000 ad impressions. And we actually have an example from our source material. One channel had a CPM of almost $20 for skippable ads.
Wow.
Yeah,
$20 for every 1,000 views. I mean, that sounds like a lot.
it can be lucrative, but YouTubers don't keep all of that.
Right.
YouTube takes a cut,
Figure.
45% to be exact. And that brings us to RPM, revenue per mil. This is the amount a creator actually earns per 1,000 views after YouTube takes its share.
Okay.
So in that $20 example, the creator would actually be making around 12 per 1,000 views.
So YouTubers get a little over half of what advertisers pay.
Yeah, that's the general idea.
Okay. But do creators even have a say in which ads actually run on their videos? I mean, like, can they choose, or is that all decided by YouTube?
Yeah, they don't have as much control as you might think. Creators can place ad in their videos once they hit certain milestones, but they can't really handpick which specific ads will show up.
Got it.
That's all YouTube's algorithms.
So there's a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't even realize as viewers.
Definitely.
This is fascinating.
It's a complex ecosystem.
Yeah.
But ad types are really just one piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
The second factor, and it's a big one, is viewer location.
Location. I never would have thought that would matter that much.
It's huge. It can have a massive impact on earnings.
Okay.
Advertisers are willing to pay more to reach certain audiences in specific regions, like the US, UK, Canada, Australia.
Those are kind of like the big markets, right?
Yeah, exactly. Higher purchasing power and all that,
Makes sense.
which means higher RPM for creators.
So if most of my audience is in, let's say, Canada,
You're in a good spot.
I'm in a good spot.
But if a lot of your viewers are, let's say, in India, Japan, the Philippines.
Then my earnings might not be quite as high.
Exactly.
So what can YouTubers do if their audience isn't primarily in those high-paying regions?
Well, one strategy that's gaining a lot of traction is creating faceless channels.
Faceless channels. I've seen those.
Have you heard of those?
Yeah, those are starting to pop up everywhere.
Yeah, so those use AI voices and avatars instead of showing an actual person.
Yeah, and that's because...
But lets creators kind of broaden their appeal.
Right.
You're not tied to one particular location or ethnicity.
I got it.
And so you can tap into those more lucrative markets, potentially.
So if I'm a creator and I'm from a region that doesn't have those high RPMs, I can kind of use AI to create a neutral persona that might appeal more to viewers in, like, the US or the UK.
Exactly.
That's smart. I mean, it's clever, but I also wonder about the ethics of that a little bit. Like, is it deceptive to not disclose that you're using AI?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Transparency and authenticity, they're really important.
Mm-hmm.
And some viewers might feel a little misled if they're not aware that they're actually interacting with an AI.
Right.
But, it also kind of reflects this increasingly blurred line between what's real and what's digital in the whole creator economy.
Yeah, it definitely raises some interesting questions.
Definitely.
I'm glad we're talking about this because this is exactly why we do this deep dive, is to really kind of unpack all of this
Okay.
and look at the different sides of it. And we've only just started.
We're just getting started. There's so much more to uncover.
There's so much more.
And up next, we'll be talking about how your channel topic can really make or break your earning potential.
Ooh, this is a big one, I think.
It's huge. And trust me, this one's a game changer.
Okay, so we've talked about ad types and viewer location, both super important, but now I'm really curious about this channel topic thing because it does seem like common sense that certain topics would just naturally be more lucrative than others.
Absolutely. And it all comes down to the advertisers and who they're trying to reach.
Right.
So certain topics like finance and business, those are just magnets for high revenue ads.
Yeah.
Because those companies have big budgets.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to reach people with disposable ads.
Makes sense.
So yeah, if you're knowledgeable about stocks or marketing or, entrepreneurship, they're in a really good spot.
You're in a prime position to make some money.
Yeah.
And we actually have a really great example in our source material. There's a channel called How to AI.
Oh yeah.
And they focus on using AI to make money. They've earned over $445,000 from just 7 million views.
Wow.
Which translates to an average RPM of $63.
That's incredible.
It's a lot.
Clearly, there's a demand for that information.
People want to know how to make money with AI.
Absolutely.
So is it all about like the make money online kind of space, or are there other topics that are really successful? Because not everyone is, a finance guru.
Right. And there are so many different types of channels out there. I mean, take Magnets Media, for example.
Okay.
They do business documentaries.
Okay.
And they've earned over $1.8 million
Wow.
from 160 million views.
Documentaries. Okay.
Yeah, and some of their individual videos have raked in thousands of dollars.
So it seems like the key takeaway here is you got to find something that's profitable, but also something that you're passionate about, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to enjoy what you're doing.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to burn out.
No one wants to watch someone who's clearly miserable talking about something.
Exactly.
All right, so let's talk about some other niches, like self-improvement, because that seems like a pretty popular genre on YouTube. How does that one perform?
Yeah, so it's interesting because it's not quite as lucrative as finance,
Okay.
but there's still definitely potential. We found a channel called Improvement Pill,
Okay.
and they were earning an RPM somewhere between $1.90 and $4.97.
It's not as high as like the finance channels we've talked about.
Right.
But it's still, if you have a big enough audience, you can still make a decent living.
Absolutely. And I think it goes to show that building a loyal audience in any niche can be really valuable.
Totally. What about like something completely different, like horror? How does horror perform on YouTube?
Well, horror is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it really highlights the importance of viewer retention.
Okay.
There's a channel called Mr. Nightmare with millions of subscribers, and they're consistently pulling in close to 1 million views per video.
Wow.
And their RPM is somewhere between $2.67 and $7.31.
That's a lot for horror. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that that would be a particularly lucrative niche on YouTube.
Right. And I think it's because horror fans, they really watch to the end.
Yeah, to see what happens.
Exactly.
It's all about the suspense.
They need that resolution.
So even though maybe the advertisers aren't paying as much, the engaged audience kind of makes up for it.
Right. They're watching those ads all the way through.
Makes sense. So I guess another key takeaway is just to make sure that people are watching all the way to the end of your videos, no matter what you're making.
Absolutely. And that actually leads perfectly into the final factor that influences YouTube earnings,
Okay.
video length, and viewer retention.
So we've touched on viewer retention a little bit,
Right.
but how does video length actually affect how much money you make?
Well, longer videos generally allow for more ad placements.
Makes sense.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Those ads only generate revenue if people are actually watching them.
Right.
So if your video is 20 minutes long, but people are clicking away after 5 minutes, you're not going to make much money.
You're not actually getting those ad impressions.
Exactly.
So it's not just about making your videos as long as possible and stuffing them with ads. It's about making sure that people are actually engaged and watching the whole thing.
Exactly. Every minute of your video should be providing value.
Right.
You don't want to be wasting anyone's time.
So don't add fluff.
No fleck.
Okay, so to recap the 4 main things that affect YouTube earnings: ad types, viewer location, channel topic, and then video length paired with viewer retention.
You got it.
And I think the most interesting thing about all of this is that creators actually have some control over all of these things.
It's really empowering. It means you're not just at the mercy of the algorithm.
Right.
You can actually make strategic choices to build a successful channel.
That aligns with what you want to do.
Exactly. And that's what it's all about.
Okay, so we've uncovered all these factors that go into how much money YouTubers can make. But now let's get practical. What can creators actually do with this information? Like, what are some actionable tips that people can actually use, whether they're just starting out or they want to, level up their existing channel?
Well, we can go back to those 4 factors we've been talking about, and you can really leverage each one of them. So let's start with location.
Okay.
We talked about those high IPM regions, the US, UK, Canada. How do you actually attract more viewers from those places?
Yeah, you can't exactly force people to watch your videos, right?
Right, you can't force them, but you can make your content more appealing to them.
Okay,
So creating content in English is a good start
right.
that opens you up to a wider audience. And don't underestimate the power of subtitles.
Subtitles.
Yeah, offering subtitles in multiple languages can really help reach that global audience.
Oh, that's a good point, subtitles. Such a simple thing, but it can make a big difference.
Huge difference. What about the content itself? Think about what you're making. Are there ways to tailor it to appeal to those higher paying regions? Like maybe incorporate cultural references or topics that are relevant to those audiences.
Right, so it's not just about speaking the language, it's about understanding the culture and what people are actually interested in.
Exactly. It's all about understanding your audience and creating that content that they're going to actually want to watch.
That makes sense. Okay, what about channel topic? I mean, we talked about how some niches are just naturally more profitable than others. What if someone's heart is set on a topic that's not, known for raking in tons of cash?
Right. And this is where you really have to find your balance between passion and profit.
Yeah,
Like, don't force yourself into a niche just because it seems lucrative.
right.
You're going to burn out if you don't enjoy what you're doing. And that's going to show in your content.
People can tell if you're not being authentic and if you're not actually excited about the topic.
Exactly. So what I would say is brainstorm topics that you're passionate about.
Okay.
Then see if any of those align with those high-paying niches we talked about.
So it's about finding that overlap.
Right. Maybe you love gaming and finance.
Okay.
Well, you could create a channel about investing in video game stocks. Or maybe you're passionate about travel and sustainable living.
Okay.
You could create a channel about your eco-friendly adventures around the world.
Those are great examples. So it really is about finding those creative combinations.
Yeah,
But what if your passion just doesn't align with those high-paying niches? Is it even possible to make money?
don't give up on your passion. It just might take a little bit more creativity and hustle. Ad revenue isn't the only way YouTubers make money.
Right.
There are other options like sponsorships, merchandise. You could even create your own online courses, digital products.
Right, and a lot of creators do that, especially if they're in a niche that's not as advertiser-friendly. It's smart to have multiple streams of income.
Absolutely. It makes your channel a lot more sustainable in the long run.
Totally. Okay, and of course, we can't forget video length and viewer retention.
Yes.
How can people make sure their content is actually good enough to keep viewers engaged all the way to the end?
Well, think of it like you're telling a story.
Okay.
Are you getting to the point quickly enough? Is the pacing good? Are you keeping the energy up?
Right, like almost like creating a mini movie. You want to hook them from the beginning.
Exactly. Think about incorporating visuals, music, humor to break things up. And don't forget calls to action.
Oh yeah, remind people to like comment, subscribe, all of that.
Exactly. The more engagement you have, the better your videos are going to perform overall.
So you're basically creating a community around your content, making people feel like they're a part of it.
Exactly. And of course, at the end of the day, it all comes down to delivering that high quality content, providing value to your viewers.
Right, no amount of fancy editing can replace actually having something worthwhile to share.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Building a successful YouTube channel takes time, effort, and passion. There's no magic formula, but by understanding these key factors and putting in the work, you can set yourself up for success.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening. I feel like we've really gotten a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to make it on YouTube. And it's inspiring to see how passion, creativity, a little business know-how can turn something as simple as a video camera into a platform for sharing your voice, building a community, and yeah, even earning a living.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, remember the most important ingredient for a successful channel is you. Your unique perspective, your passion, your creativity, those are the things that will make your content stand out.
So get out there, share your story, connect with your audience, and never stop learning and growing. The world of YouTube is waiting for you. And hey, if you ever need a deep dive into any other topic, you know where to find us. Until next time, keep exploring and keep creating.
As always, subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below.
Yeah, leave us your thoughts.
Let us know what you think.
And don't forget to check out the links in the description. You might find some useful stuff there. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.